after hosting for 20 hours, I don't know what it would be, something like that, then your monthly offering is then canceled out because you become a journeyman hoster. And then when you become a master hoster, not a toaster, but a master hoster, you actually get compensation. So that it's a growing thing, because there are a lot of people that come in. Well, me, I know I've gotten better at hosting than my first few, and I wouldn't expect to get paid for my less than masterful hosting. But as I grow and understand the resident field more and become part of the organism, uh, as more of then possibly moving the bar a little bit. I'm just throwing that out. I don't know.
I guess for me, that feels like another level, like that. That's where we're going, and I'm not against what you guys are saying. I think in the moment where we're in a moment where things want to happen pretty quickly, as if I'm, you know, if I'm getting this right, I mean, it could be next week, right?
Next
So
Thursday.
next Thursday, right? Exactly. So what you guys are describing is something that why we came to this call to discuss, further. But I don't think it's really part of the conversation right now. It's too much because there's too much to figure out, and I still want to bring in that I know Julie started to do the taxes today, and before for me, I feel like those monies need to go somewhere first, and that's whatever those donations are, or at least we need to talk about it. So that's really why we came to this call, and then Julie's bringing in something that's more like pretty immediate. So we're not going to start. Well, I don't believe we would be starting pooling money and figuring that out in the percentage. We need a couple of calls to get that really grounded, which is why we were having today's call.
Yeah, I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and not that I'm against it.
No, no, no. I
I
get
think
it
there's
though.
lots of possibilities, but I think we're just looking at how can we, like with, if the love is governing this, and I know this is where Julie is, if the love, the field is saying, okay, guys, let's go. You're about to just explode. How do we do it in a meaningful and a way that values our mentors that are already in, and obviously the connection isn't an issue, and really hold to this piece of wholeness, so that that flow of energy that's coming in from, okay, I keep feeling these examples like Anna Luce, like she's doing one of those, and we don't need to get into a big story, but she's doing one of the leadership programs, and she basically was in connection with us. She was supposed to work with Julie, and she took all the information from Good of the Whole and created a program using some of that languaging. And Julie, we know about this, and you don't need to know the details, but essentially it's like, how do we allow this frequency to come in, fill the space, fill the bandwidth, and do it in a way that is, I still think it's about raising up the mentoring stewards. We don't have to give them money at this point. $15, they're only paying $15 really for what they're getting, and just give away that the people that Phil Lane's bringing in feel valued, connected, and whole, and at the same time we give them that, really that unique expression of Good of the Whole, which is the resonance piece, which is the whole worldview, and we are really eliciting that, because when you're working with indigenous nations, that's, they already get that piece, and there's got to be this, it's kind of like when the Panama Canal, the docks, we're just opening them up so that they can come through in a way that, so I'm complete. And but I just think the money conversation needs to end, unless that's the conversation we're going to have. But it seems like the conversation that Julie is bringing in for us as an advisory council right now is, even though we wanted to focus totally on the money, is calling for our attention, like right here, and it's going to start. And how do we do it in a way
So
that's,
I want to just say a couple things. So I'm going to end up with the mentoring stewards, but I just wanted to do a reflection of, yes, the indigenous literally have it on a cellular level, but they don't have it up here. And sometimes they don't have it here because of the wound. And that's what Chief Phil Lane is working on, is healing that wound so that they can come into resonance. So we're creating a field that will benefit this population no matter what, even if some of the presenters, and by the way, they had a ton of videos. They said we could plug in videos, and I'm like, videos just don't, it needs to be live. And they're like, okay. I said, we could promote links. And I said, and we could put this all in our daily digest. So it's one digest. It's not Chief Phil Lane and then Good of the Whole. It's like, it's our digest where we're putting their programming in. So to me, that integration is really important. And it is a service to a population in need. When they recover that memory of the web of life, when they really get that in their body and experience wholeness, everything on the planet can shift, because it's about forgiveness and healing from the indigenous on every continent right now. So this is a really important piece. We've displaced them. So to me, I see it as a really big love offering that we're doing right now. No one else is doing this for Chief Phil Lane, and he's been waiting 50, I don't remember how many years. He said in tears yesterday, I've been waiting for this for 56 years of my life. I had this vision and you're making it come true. And I never knew technology could do it. So that's the one thing. I just wanted to presence that, because we say they get it. And you gave the example of Noreen, where it's probably in her DNA and it is in her ancestry lineage and it's right there, but she's totally disconnected from it. So coming into the field, even us, if we literally hold our own ceremony and hold the whole connection field daily in this higher vibrational frequency, whether we're on there interacting or not, we're creating a service that will be beautiful. So that was number one. Number two, very practical. Do you think the mentoring stewards will step up to do more? Because we still have some slots that are open. Do we have the people that will step up to co-host an hour, or to just introduce and create resonance and host that hour? This is a practical question, but I think it's an important one. Like, are we missing something, or do we need to tap? Look at Sharon was tapped by Linda, and she was amazing. She was freaking amazing. And you did that. And I got on some calls and they were just gabbing, but her resonance was good. She totally did a beautiful job of the hosting part. Incredible. So do we have mentoring stewards that need to be tapped? Can others give more? This is a question. We have a 7-week commitment here.
That is a perfect lead into my question. Are all of the mentoring stewards listed on that Facebook mentoring steward page? Do I know all of the mentoring stewards for Good of the Whole? Or are they on there and they're not paying their monthly contribution donation?
There are some on there that are not paying because they have different arrangements, kind of been grandfathered in. Our early mentors that mentored us, Carolyn and Catherine and Makasha, they're just grandfathered in as the mentors of the birth of Good of the Whole. A few others don't have the ability to pay, so there are 3 in there that want to do more and have an agreement that they will do more, that perhaps this is something that we could work out with. Well, one of them gives. So there's 2 of them on there that don't give. One just gives every once in a while, sends a donation, and because they don't use credit cards. So so there are a couple that perhaps would do that, but I'm going to then let Shelley go on too.
They're all listed on the Facebook mentoring steward.
Okay, so unless they don't use Facebook, they're all in there. And Julie Downs was the last one. The newest mentoring stewards are Jess and
Adam,
huh?
Adam Barber.
Right. Adam Barber, we need to have a call with him because he doesn't even know what he stepped into. So, when yes, we're not going to put him on that. I mean, the only way you get on that page is if there's some engagement and we have a conversation. I mean, that's why we set up that mentoring steward protocol, which is kind of like come in and have that conversation with one of us so that they at least know what they're coming. Sherry Doyen is a really good example. She thinks she gets it, but she doesn't, and then she's not really engaged. And I mean, she would be a powerful powerhouse if she really got this. And that's my job to work with her a little bit more because she's my really good friend. And so I got her to come in. She knows about the Wednesday calls, but she also runs a larger movement. So I mean, it's I just want to speak about the calendar. So. I mean, people are stepping up, and I've talked to pretty much everyone. And example, June and Danama. June really doesn't have the time right now. She just says, I can't, there's too much hammering going on. I'm afraid if I come on, so there are those people. Danama, she's locally like 12 hours a day. She would be phenomenal. My sense is though, is that if we, given that we're all going to go ahead with this Chief Phil Lane and whatever we're doing, I'm going to call Danama. I'm going to call June. Take a call. We just need 7 people. That's all we need. And probably, honestly, they're going to be us. So I would turn around the question to us. Are we willing to give 1 more hour to host those calls because we are the pillars, the functioning pillars of heart resonance with June and Danama. Somebody like Jess at this point, I would try to get them. I would like to take us out of the connection field and put us on the call with the people that are coming in with Chief Phil Lane because we can hold it. Henry can hold it. There are certain people we can make a list, but I think all we need is really 7 people, or depending on what he's taking. And the other thing I want to add, Julie, is, and this is really important, Kate has already asked for space in that block of time. Pamela Durand has already asked a space for that block of time. So we need to look at the bandwidth. Is it okay if, we have our mentoring stewards and Kate is, working her thing out. But if we have mentoring stewards that want to take up inside of that bandwidth of that 5 to 7, is it, is that possible? Or do you feel like we just need to give him that bandwidth as his, and his people? So anyway, that was something. So that's
think
kind
that
of
we have to obviously put people in where they fit, and he can work around them. He's looked on it, like he didn't want to do the mornings because he saw at the advisory council and the heart res. So I'm like, but you have every other day, so so I'm sure we could work around it and help him coordinate, because he was just going for the ease, going, oh, we could do this. And it's not 7, it's 14 if they have a 2-hour block 7 days a week. So however many that would be.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like if I ask myself, can you take it on? I mean, that's a lot, but what I would look, if I'm going to take it on, I would look for, okay, I'll take this because I know that I'm needed for that. But I would look for other mentoring stewards to take some of the blocks in the connection field, which is already going along pretty smoothly. And so.
Can
and
I ask
think
a question? Because this is what's confusing for me. I could step up and do something, but I'm not understanding. 5 to 7, it's a 2-hour block, but it's going to be every day 2 different 1-hour programs?
Could be two different programs, could be 1 2-hour program. It depends on what they put in there for programming. It could be a 90-minute, a 30-minute, but I don't know. We could say we encourage you to only do 1-hour programs and put them in, not do a 2-hour or not do, but we can also just say, let us know what your what you're thinking here. So,
Yeah, that's what you said. I mean, when you said, well, 14 hours a week, do we need 14 mentoring steward hours?
You
Yeah.
might, you might.
we might.
But
Might.
the other thing is, you know, I mean, I think this is why we need to have another call with him, because when you're doing that type of scheduling, you don't want to run, you know, if they, depending on who it is, if we're not acclimated to each other, it's really, it's a whole living system that we're creating. If they go 5 or 10 minutes over, we're taking that, you know, that's a problem because we have already that 8 o'clock spot. So we really have to look at those programs are 50 minutes each or 55 minutes each or something, you know, like, so that doesn't happen. And so, I mean, there's definitely some calendar working out, but I think it would be really good to, you know, come in more specifically with him and, you know,
And I
maybe,
think that communicating with the people he recruits to do those hours will be of the utmost importance. And he's kind of hard to communicate with. And so, you know, he's like one of those, you don't know where he's landing sometimes, but we could definitely have an orientation with each person and give them the specifics. And if there's going to be someone there to introduce them, this is how it will go. And then we will close. And so your content needs to be done in 50 minutes or, you know, we can, that part I'm not worried about. I just don't know if we have the bandwidth.
what if we just say, let's start out with, you can have a slot going a bandwidth of, you know, 7 hours across, you know, maybe 7 hours in the morning or 7, don't roll out that full 5 to 7. And, you know, just say, look, let's start with an hour. Like, let's not, you know, so it's a smaller amount for us to deal with, you know, to be present for.
What if he's already recruited that much programming?
Well, then we need to have a call to say, hey, okay, we've talked a little bit. We see some things that we need to more communicate. Can you bring on, let's get together with, you know, whatever, 7 of the people that you really want to see, the first 7 to slide in there. You know, who are they? Let's get together. And I don't know. I think there just needs to be some more collaborative kind of.
Can I ask one more question? Do we know what are they presenting information about their program, or are they kind of hosting a connection field hour, or what are they doing?
Good question.
Really good question.
Here's a good question. I don't think they're hosting a connection field hour. I think it's special programming that he's inviting a bunch of guest speakers to just come on so that his community can learn. He literally wants, if you think of the indigenous that are coming in to learn about the talking circles, he's trying to empower indigenous leaders and he wants them to learn health and wellness. And what was his title? Wellness. Let's go back to it if I can find it.
This thing?
The global, yeah, what does it say? Well, is that it? Global ceremony for healing, wellness, thrivability, and peace on earth.
So what's our job? What do we do during those hours?
I think if we introduced them, we could literally get off and then have the next person come in 5 minutes early and introduce them, set the resonance, and get off. I don't know that we have to sit. You could participate and learn if you wanted to and you're interested, but.
Well, it feels a little, for me, it feels like there needs to be another conversation because it's too ambiguous. It's like, what if, I mean, are they coming in and just teaching people talking circles? You know, how does this, you know, how do the tributaries come together as one ocean? That's how it feels to me. It's like it feels a little bit separate. Like, I just feel like we need more information, you know.
Do you want me to call him right now? Y'all willing to stay on for another little bit?
I got nowhere to go, but another question I had though, is he talking 7 days a week? You know, is that, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 to 7 Eastern time? Or?
It's really the host, the connection field is hosting. The connection field is hosting whatever they're bringing in. That's how it feels to me. And that feels actually pretty good, you know, that it's, you know, or
Yes.
good of the whole connection field is.
But then it's important for each one who's coming for that hour is that we hold that space for them. We're there with them. We're mentoring
Right.
them because they're in the connection field.
Yeah, and this is my concern. Like, I mean, knowing Anna Luce, if she does something, you know, it's like she's going to make it her program. She's going to drive people to her program. I'm sorry, I have to say this. She's going to drive people to her program. So, do we want someone like that coming onto the connection field of doing a special program, not driving people, not even understanding really good of the whole, or, you know, I mean, that's obviously why we need to be the host for that call, at least the first week, to kind of feel into what's going on here. And we need to open it and we need to close it, because otherwise you know, I mean, Anna Luce isn't indigenous. She's got her own agenda, and a beautiful one in that she's working with, you know, all those people. But I just kind of feel like, and this is not an ego issue, it's more just like, okay, how do we work with the intelligence of this field that has given us a gift to bring forward, and how does that resonance continue? So I don't know the answer, Julie. I'm just
So maybe if we had the information of, okay, let's just say on Monday, 2 hours, the person that's presenting, whatever they're presenting, if we knew at least an outline of their program, and
Yeah.
go, oh, okay, they're gonna do Sacred Circle, and here's kind of what their focus is. And if I knew that information, then I could do an initial resonance that kind of incorporates around that a little bit. But if they're just coming in blank and going, you know, we're here I am, and
No. These are all thematic programs. This is, someone might come and teach nutrition. Someone might come and teach. I don't think they're going to do the listening field concept at all. I think they're going to have people in their own expertise sharing their wisdom. So there will be a theme. So you could adapt the resonance to that.
So let's
That's
just
almost
call them
like-
in.
That's like the evening programs where each one of us is doing a special something, and it's still the connection field, but it's like, that's your hour. During the day, I feel the connection field is a place for listening, because we're not presenting a particular program. But when it comes down to specifics, that's like later in the day, where that slot is specific. It's the men's group, it's the healing field, it's, the earth resonance, whatever that is the evening type programs where there is a specific presentation. I think that would make it clear for people who are trying to find connection. Oh, do I want to learn about this? Do I want to be part of that field, that circle?
Imagine it being like our special programs, and we promote it just like we did all everybody else's. We fully integrate it in.
I guess I see it as a special program for 7 weeks
No.
for slots. And so
I don't really get what the 7 weeks has to do with it. Aren't they going to want to continue? If they
Probably.
love
I was
it?
going to ask that too.
It doesn't make, I mean, their program is 7 weeks. It's not 7 weeks for us. I mean,
that's right.
because if, just to end with this one piece, which I feel like is really sort of the essence of everything. It's like, we just want, I mean, what's so easy to say to him, and I'm sure, Julie, you've said this, is like, the reason we just want to host it is we want to keep we want to hold the frequency of the whole, which is exactly what he's wanting. That's why he's been waiting for this, right? So we're there just as mentoring stewards to hold the frequency of the whole, not to, control what they're doing.
One other thing, since we're using our number and our password and other thing, there could be other people in our community that would drop into his calls.
Oh,
Oh, definitely.
definitely.
I mean, just because they're just calling in thinking there might be something going on. Is that okay?
I think we should all be doing his exercise class.
But he does have this 7-week leadership teaching thing. Is that something he's charging for, that no one can just pop in?
Yes, he's charging, but he's willing to do scholarships. He's not going to keep anybody out that can't pay. That's what he said. And they haven't really worked that out. I mean,
That's
there-
not 2 hour slot. That's not happening then.
No,
No. that's
his
not-
class is happening on Alusa's platform.
Okay.
Oh, it's not part of the connection field. Oh, because he was telling us it starts April 16th.
That's
And
the
I-
opening ceremony.
but
I
he
thought-
gave us the hours. He said the continuing education is like 10:30, 10 to 12, and he gave us the hours. I have it somewhere, but
Is that just one day a week? Would that just be on
every day,
every day?
pretty much, I think.
Okay,
Right,
so,
Julie?
so he's not coming into our bandwidth. He's going to Anna Lou's,
For the teaching part.
the teaching part.
But he wants to do these supplemental classes that anybody can access at any time.
Okay.
So, and then they'll give us some links that we could put in the digest and share with all of our people. So here's a free class here, here's a free link here, here's a, so I think it will be good for our community as well. It's just a matter of putting the infrastructure in place that this is a smooth transition.
Yeah, I
And
think
we
if he's
do-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'll just say, and we do invite donations to go to the whole, to support the platform.
Yeah, and everything will say the connection field will always be there, and they're going to know. And as the intro, they're going to know it's part of the good of the whole. And
Mhm.
yeah,
That's good. Yeah, we start where we are and we do what we can do and we'll see what happens and we'll
I do
respond
like one.
onward.
I do like one thing that you're saying, Glenn, and I'm sorry, I promise I'll be quiet. Is they are collecting money for those 7 weeks. Don't laugh. I saw that laughter. They are this is something. Now I'm going with you guys. So they are collecting money for those classes. So what would it be inappropriate to ask Chief Phil Lang, look, you're collecting money for those classes. We're opening up the field for you to come. We're gonna have to work with our mentoring stewards. Would you be willing to offer a donation through that? Probably Anna Luce is making money. I mean, maybe there's something, I don't know what that would look like, or maybe Julie will say no. But maybe there is a thought to that. Just asking him, we would love to have a donation gifted to Good of the Whole, because we're running this whole program for you. Would there be that consideration? So I don't know. I'm not attached to that, but.
so I mean, I'm not going to answer that yes or no. I think it's a great idea, and they should be invited to donate. And I'm going to tell you, I have a dozen documents open on my computer screen right now, and so part of this is the infrastructure that we're building as we go. It's like we're building the bridge as we're walking across in this evolution right now. And we have this mothership, and we need to open the docking station so people can come in. And that's what I'm working on. So I just want to say this one thing, because I know it's bugging Shelley that I'm not hosting any hours. But if I host hours, I cannot get this done. And I need to just ask for your grace that we have to create the infrastructure to receive the money and to create those docking stations so that they're open. So even like, once we have these levels of how people engage, which we've already have, we've got all this document, but we need to be able to communicate it. We all need to agree on it. Like we need to probably go through the business plan again and go, yes, 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 we agree on this. Then we know how to say, we would love to host this program for you for a donation or for a fee or to become a member. You need to become a member. And we are really close to being able to begin to work really creatively with some of these organizations in creating that next level of superorganism and what that looks like. So as we put, I don't want to be an executive director, but if nobody's acting as an executive director, we don't have a sustainable structure of an organization to be able to go to this next level. And so we have to get these pieces in place. So I agree, a donation or a split fee from him is the same thing that we were talking about Monday or over the weekend when we were talking about the donations, that if we're hosting this for you, it would be nice to have that piece come back. And that's reciprocity, that's wholeness, that's, I mean, everybody would, I think, go, of course, except for us. When in our generosity, like, give away everything, we'll show up, we'll do it. And it's time for us to have that organism moving to open up the docking stations to begin to receive. So people could come in and plug in and really have a beautiful
Exchange.
relationship of reciprocity. What'd you say, John?
An exchange.
An exchange of resources,
Yeah.
time, talent, and resources. Information, time, talent, resources. That's what's in the document. They're coming in and they're plugging in, and there's an exchange of information, time, talent, and resources. So everyone is engaged doing their part, and it feels like I have a benefit. If I come into this docking station, I'm not only giving, I'm receiving. And so it's the same model that Glenn is proposing here, is that, you know, we come in and we're giving and we're receiving, and it makes the organism work. It's the law of reciprocity. It's generosity model. It works. So, and it could be creative, like the gift economy, a gifting economy, or a time bank, or we could create that kind of model and hold that. I proposed it to a business 2 weeks ago, and they thought it was absolutely crazy. A what? A what? A time bank? What? Are you crazy? This guy's an attorney, and this guy's are you kidding? Our customer service rep. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. So literally we could, yeah, obviously. So.
I think we have got the opportunity to shift that relationship. It's right, like you say, this guy's an attorney and this guy's a this. We've got this thing is way out of whack. And we just got to blow it up and start over. What would we start over with?
Okay, are we bringing him on or not?
Okay.
Yeah. Let me try to call him again. I think I have his phone number.
Now, let me say too that as at the end of the day, for you guys, you know, I'm hosting that hour from, from 4 to 5 Eastern time, and he's talking about being on from 5 to 6 and 6 to 7. So those are not stressful hours for me to step in to do some of that. And so, it's getting later for you guys, but I don't have a problem picking up time there.
You know, Shelley, you're talking the other thing that I've been spending a significant amount of time, I would call it, with Jess. I think she would be ready to host an hour before too long. She's really got it. And she's very excited, and with a little training, watching her do it like part of our program of what we want, I think she could take an early, it's already 6 o'clock in the evening by the time she comes on my call. So she could take an early, oh, go ahead.
She's already talked to me about it.
Oh,
And she and Anita are talking about doing something, but they're only talking about once a week, early in the morning.
oh,
So, and yes, you're right. She's ready. The problem with Jess is her background. She's got all that. She always has all that noise going on in her background. So she has to figure out a way to make that work. But
okay.
she's amazing. Yeah, no, you're right. But they already have talked to me, and they're already, they're musing with it, but they're really talking about one.
Oh, okay.
It might take more.
Okay.
I think everyone's going to everyone loves this, just like, I called Sharon on Wednesday and said, listen, can you please take the call for me? I just need a break. She just jumped right in,
Yeah.
So I think more and more, and there's more people that will, and I'll talk to Sherry. So I think there'll be more and more people to cover what we're doing.
And thinking about bringing in, I want to say recruiting, mentoring stewards, I think there are just, I know a ton of people that don't have a clue what we're doing at Good of the Whole, and don't even know there's a mentoring steward thing. And they just don't know anything about it. So it's like, I invited over 100 people to come to Good of the Whole Facebook page yesterday.
Yay, keep going.
So, so people are just learning that this is an opportunity, and there's a whole lot more that could be done if we made a personal reach out and said, look, this is where we're at and where we're going, and want to help.
Well, I think we're building I mean, the reason this is happening is because we're ready, or we are readying. That's actually how I would say it. We're readying. We still don't have the full infrastructure, but as Julie was saying, we're building it as we walk that bridge. And that's why, we're ending up having more calls. And so, yeah, I think I mean, I meet people. I'm not meeting that many people right now, but everybody I do meet, I send them that digest. So that is, like, to me, the best way right now to let people know, and they get to see that, they get to feel into the whole picture. Anyway, Julie, go ahead.
He's on his way.
Cool.
And there's going to be a bunch, Marion and I are reaching out to the couples too, like in this 24/7 couples, the thing that we're going to do. And so that's going to bring some new blood this direction, I think, as well. And so, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I say perfect is the enemy of action.
Last week we had more mentoring stewards come in than we've had in a whole year. So I feel like, the field is saying, yeah, keep going. We're doing it.
Keep going, but they'll just
So,
keep coming.
Who else? We've activated a couple that have been that way, Julie Down and Tyson. And then Adam and Jess and Shanti. Is there another one?
Okay, I'll talk to Shanti Hard. I was just on a call with her. Adam, Linda, and I are going to try to have a call with him to help him understand what he's even involved in or what he's thinking. And who was the other one?
Jess.
And Jess. She's coming on all the calls. So
Yeah.
She really. I mean, she's coming into the mentoring steward. She's on the Monday morning call. She's there.
Is there another one? Is there another mentoring steward? Do you remember?
Seems like there was somebody else. People can't remember. I'm blank in the moment.
By the way, I need to follow up with Grace just to let you know. I don't know if she made a donation or she's trying to raise her monthly membership. But now she has 2 monthly memberships in. So I'll give her a call so that we could see if that's what she really wanted to do.
Julie, my monthly thing, I got to get it straightened with you, because I think I keep getting a message that I need to upgrade my program or whatever, but I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't checked. I know I was making a $50 a month donation, but
I can tell you what's going on with that.
Oh.
But maybe why don't we talk about it after?
Yeah.
Because I still get those messages, so I know. Yeah.
But let me check on it, John, because I can go behind the scenes and fix that for you too. So
That would be great.
Sure. Hello, Brother Phil.
Hello. Great to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks. Welcome back again.
Yes, thank you.
So you and I talked about the schedule yesterday a little bit. And so we were talking about, we just had a bunch of questions for you.
Sure.
One of the things that we want to do is, as you're bringing in the programming, well, let me just breathe for a minute. One of the things that's important to us is that all of the programs that you bring in are fully integrated in and feel fully resonant and hold the resonant field and hold that frequency of wholeness. So in doing that, one of the things we were thinking about is one of us could come on and introduce the program, do just a brief opening resonance, and then turn the person over to do the programming. But I think we have a lot of questions like, what kind of programs and how many hours are you thinking, and where you're at now with once you looked at that schedule. So,
well, since we visited, I've been visiting with relatives from Australia to New Zealand to Europe to the whole world. And how, and by the way, our 16 principles, I think, really share the foundation of anything we have to share, which are the foundation of compassion games, the foundation of many different things that are developed by elders. So what we see is this: we don't want to be, we want to be stepping in a path with you to a new global civilization, peace on earth, and really step away from this negativity. We don't want to have anything where we're battering anybody for, you know, what happened to us in the past as Indigenous people. And what I'm saying is we want to uplift it. That doesn't say, you know, we don't want to be, you know, we don't want to be to share what we have to share with strength, spiritual strength. But in terms of the content, I can assure you that we are at one with you. That now some relatives might want to be adversarial or, you know, more this from our understanding from the prophecies, these things which have hurt us so much, they're in the process of disintegration. But we have to work on what are we going to, the integration, what are we going to move this to, all this energy that's being disintegrating. So I'll just stop it there. But I really understand what you're saying. You want to make sure there's quality, there's respect, there's wholeness, and so forth. So I'll give you, for instance, some of the things. I had a long talk with Summer Joy Rimmer, and she, you know, is a very, she and her friend are very good at the type of dance they have. I haven't seen it yet, but she and has a friend who has a different style of the same kind of dancing, healing dancing. So they're willing to, both of them, and I would interview them first, and they talk about they have different styles, and then they would have every other day one style, another style, and they would introduce then other sessions where they'd come in live. Now this is a question I had too. I understand that you don't like videos, but I mean, it seems to me that, for instance, if we had this out in the morning time or early or whatever, that in some cases videos, unless you just absolutely want no videos, seemed like somebody could introduce the video. But that's the programming. For instance, another is Jose Munoz, who this morning, we, for instance, did a beautiful Mayan fire ceremony live. But he's a highly respected Mayan timekeeper. And so he's going to read the Mayan calendar every day. Now, we just had another person come in who is also, how do I say it? I think it's a student of his, without understanding he was coming. So we put them together. So what they can do. So, you know, it's kind of a weaving together this thing within the context that you provided, that you already have spaces there done. So we're not looking to that.
Yeah, I'll just let the rest of the advisory council know that he said he totally doesn't even want to rearrange what we have. Like I said, if we needed to tweak, and he's like, no, we won't. We'll leave yours totally fine. So he would work in those other hours. And so the issue with the video is, Brother Phil, the quality. When we can share screen and play a video, but sometimes the sound or the buffering creates a little problem. However, you know, it's an option. It just isn't good quality for the listener or the participant that's taking it in sometimes.
Yes.
Especially if it's music. I mean, if it's like a beautiful, if it's drumming, it's no big deal. If it's a fire ceremony, I think that would be fine too. But the live would be nice to have them, but yeah.
So what maybe would be to do is to see, to actually give it a try on that particular video that they have, to see, so we can see how it performs. And then based on that, now what I've done here in my home is that I'm not getting the kind of, I mean, it's pretty good, but it kind of gets a little bit down. So I've just upgraded to what they call the 600, which is a business level plan, which allows me, now I know I'm not going to fail in terms of delivery. I love that. You know, I love that. That has been seen by so many people. I'll tell you, that's so beautiful what you did.
Let me share it with you. Let me share it with you so you can experience what it's like, okay? To have a video on. I'll show you what we're talking about here.
Julie, can I just tell you one thing that I discovered?
Yeah.
Okay. Just check this, okay? So when you go to share, look down at the bottom of the white screen, and there are 2 boxes. And I realized that I was not clicking on them. So just see if you can find them. And actually, I could probably tell you what it said.
Yeah, tell me what you're talking about here.
Okay, hold on. Let me just, I
Okay,
can't.
no, here, just look at mine. Okay, so-
No, it's not there. It's before you actually click on the video. So unshare.
Unshare screen.
Yeah, unshare screen. Okay, so let me just click on it so I can tell you what I'm talking about. Okay, when you just click one click on the bottom, there are 2 boxes. One says share computer sound, and then optimize.
That's under which?
Oh, yes.
So see that? Okay, so I just discovered that. I don't know if that's going to make
screen share for video clip.
Yeah.
Share computer sound. Oh, let's try it. Here we go, guys. Ready?
Okay.
Oh, and of course I've got to, let's see, share my audio. So I gotta, gotta remember my password. Oh, brilliant.
I'm going to say we just keep learning every day.
Right.
We do. Better?
Julie, I wanted to say one thing. So this is what I just got when that worked, is that because Brother Phil, we were talking about the transition from the different hours to whatever you'd be doing. And one of the things was having a host that because we hold that vibration to just open the next hour or whatever that is, and obviously participate. But what I just saw, since that worked really well, is that, and we were going to do this in the very beginning, in between every host, when we opened up that next hour, really is to simply play that video and allow one of us to
Yeah.
and maybe even after the first week, things will be feeling smooth enough that, you know, the good of the whole mentoring stewards, or just us advisory council, don't have to do that, because really the video holds that frequency. But
Yes.
the other piece was at the very end of that hour, 2 hours, whatever you're taking, that instead of having one of your people have to sort of disengage from where they are, that the host, the mentoring steward, or the good of the whole person, you know, one of us would just come in and share the, you know, so if you want to know more about good of the whole, blah, 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 or if we can arrange it that your person is saying that. But I think that would create the flow that we're looking for, the energy, the resonance, to keep that in, you know, in that integration that you're talking about.
Yes. Now the other thing I think that would be very helpful is that I'm really reaching deeply into the Black community that I know, because I'm really asking, we really need, our Indigenous people need your support. Please join our circle. Because right now, if you think about it, you know, whenever we have gatherings, in terms of having, let's say, 20, 30% from African background, it really doesn't happen. The other initiative I'm doing is I've got a lot of relatives, because through my wife in Thailand and Asia, I did a lot of work there. So I'm reaching out. So we have a significant number of relatives from Asia, as well as Europe, as well as, you know, other mixtures, Indigenous people, everybody, so that we really reflect the human family. So for instance, I have an incredible nephew of mine. He's a great actor, Curtis Hinekeu. He's just so gifted. So for the Indigenous programming, we really would like to train an Indigenous person. So when they come there, they see this inviting Indigenous person. When, for instance, when we have Pato and Antoinette, I'd like to have I'd like to be able to recruit and have really good African American, Asian, Native, Indigenous, everybody being able to be represented. So it's not the same, you might say, way it's been before. Let's put it that way. So that would be my hope, that when we have whoever's introducing it, whatever time, if it's an Indigenous program, we have an Indigenous person introduce it.
Beautiful.
I don't want to be disrespectful at all, please, but it's just, we have people coming in from the reservations who are so poor, they want to see somebody they can relate to. Not me, by the way. Somebody like Curtis, who's born in the res and kind of had can do, he's an actor and can do the res talk and all that, which is good. But so that's what I'm hoping, that we can, during this process, and we can begin that way, but during this process, I really appreciate it if we could have, like Shaba Om, who was formerly one of the original Black Panthers, who was put in Attica. He was through the Attica, and then became an incredible spiritual being, head of his union shop. Now he's retired. He's such an incredible being, but nobody knows him because he lives in this other community, which has not connected to our communities. But I connect with him, but it's not that he. By the way, he loves all people. There's just been no doorway. Or Reverend Carolyn Wilkins, Sister Carolyn, another perfect. They're kind of a group. I see Michael Beckwith, Reverend Michael Beckwith. So this community has really. I'm encouraging us to make sure they're represented. Tommy Woon, who's an incredible Chinese leader here in the United States. I think he's a professor, I forget which, some major university. He's such a beautiful person. So we need to bring our Asian relatives. So we really have a dialogue. Now that's my prayer. Now, whether we can do it right away or not. So that would be the thing I would hope.
Do you feel comfortable? Let me just ask, because there's obviously we're all being asked to let go and to open to the whole family, like you're saying. So do you feel comfortable with like one of those people opening your calls to show that 1-minute video? And
absolutely, that video, 1,000 million billion %. And by the way, that is so beautiful. It's not that and even as we work through it, we need to learn also how to see somebody that looks different than us and listen to them too. But I'm saying initially, I've got these relatives on welfare, and then they see somebody they can relate to. Then they're gonna. But then as they learn, we can then begin to develop this unity and diversity. But to begin with, it's kind of like, we're first time they're going to come in together in communications.
Right.
And maybe I'm wrong. If you've been where on a Zoom call where 30%, 40% are African Americans?
My friend.
How about 20%?
Well, actually, I have.
Okay.
I was a minority, and I had 90%. But it was my son-in-law and his family, and he Zoomed me in with all of his family because he's African-American, but that doesn't count. He's family. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
So what I want to do is extend to you, to your family there, that part of your family, this invitation with full scholarships to whoever wants to come that can't afford it. That's what I'm doing in every community, to come to our talking circle, because there we're really going to get into talking and how to talk to each other. So what I'm saying is, that's the kind of outreach I'm seeing. That right there, you have a doorway to. And by the way, please, I'm really saying this is not about money. If anybody, and there's no questions asked. If anybody comes and asks for a scholarship or whatever they want, you can only pay partially. No question asked, fine. Because in time, if they're not really committed, they'll kind of just step away anyway.
Well, you have a couple questions here, I think, from Linda and Glenn, and I just have one as well, and then I'll turn it over to Linda first. Is, if Brother Phil, do you imagine this building over the 7 weeks and continuing to add, or do you feel like you're going to have 14 programs ready to go next Thursday?
I see it as an unfolding process.
Okay.
No, I understand that we have, culturally, and I shouldn't say that. There's kind of like the all the planning up front, or just kind of letting it unfold. And I think we have a framework that we're working on, because this is happening so quickly. This has never happened, and it's just like it's so amazing. We're in a whole different place. So, you know, I see it building. And not only that, when I was talking this summer, you know, they're finding another waves coming out of Europe of that virus, meaning that they thought they had it down, now it's starting up. So and I think it was Bill Gates, whether Bill Gates, I guess, pro or con, but he said that there will be no more large gatherings until at least the first new year. So I mean, this we don't know yet what is the outcome of this is, and I have a feeling that this, I mean, what you've done here, which was our dream, which you did it, was we have the opportunity to literally have a 24/7 people's station focused on moving towards a new global civilization and peace on earth. That's what we have. And then we're even thinking about, for our group, we're going to ask them to learn to fast from any kind of social media except what we're doing. I mean, we don't want people for just one day. No, nothing about the coronavirus, nothing about anything. Just fast for one day from the external world. That's it. It'll be hard for people. Just one day.
So if I may,
Sure, Linda.
as you're talking and wanting to introduce us to these new leaders who will come on, you know, they're the ones holding the space for these new people to come in.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to welcome them in, like our little group, and say, come into our living room so we can meet you. It's like we're creating a circle of just the ones who will be the main presenters so that we can meet them and they can know us, so that they know the field that they're walking into.
Beautiful.
You know, it's not that we would get to meet everybody who's going to be in their hour call, but at least the presenter or the leader of that.
Would bring together some of the key leadership. And what I would say is, let's bring our living rooms together.
Yes.
Our rooms together rather than our room, because bring our rooms together, our circles together. That's the hoop of many hoops. That's what I'd call it. So we'll bring the leader of the hoops together to create the hoop of many hoops together, like Black Elk said. That's a beautiful idea. Wonderful. Wonderful. I mean, you just don't know. I've really expressed out there, they know how thankful I am to Good of the Whole for what's happened. I put it out there. I've shared it widely. And I do feel I'm just not saying that. I feel it in my soul, because we have now the capacity to small. I don't see it little by little. Now we know we can use videos. So that really helps. Like we have Pato's and Antoinette's video. We have beautiful things we can literally, with videos, we literally have the capacity to right now, if we worked at it for a day or so, we could program the whole 24 and then pull out the videos when we're ready to put something else. I mean, literally you could have ready with all kinds, we could have different types of things, and then we can begin putting in, as the digest comes out daily, we can begin adding. So really, we can put Healing the Hurts. We have so many wonderful, we could also put things from wait a minute, I just thought about this. What if we had in there the capacity for everybody to feel at home in our starting off with strong, good, uplifting African-American relatives, telling us more about various faiths, the Jewish faith, the Christian, I mean, whatever, it's positive. And then you have that, and then, wow, we have the dance in there, we have healing. We'd have to really take the time to, what do they call that thing where you kind of culture something, or what do you do? Where you kind of develop, you curate. We'd have to curate very carefully, curate this whole video thing, and that we'd fill in. It'd be so easy to program it in. Boom, 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 boom. And start off with, have that film play, the field film video play. I mean, like every hour in those places where we work, because it's just inviting. Anyway, it's a thought.
We definitely need someone to run all of that because we're already like 24/7.
Oh, no, well, we have,
We'll hold
I
the
think,
feel for that.
yes, I think we're bringing in some really wonderful relatives. I mean, not just indigenous relatives, you know, from, there's some really good relatives who have a lot of technical skills that are really excited about this. That, I mean, not that they're going to they're not going to kind of overwhelm, but they will be there for support like this.
Glenn.
One of the things that I see that would be important would be for us to train the host in just the basics of Zoom so that
Yes.
they understand how to host a room, how to mute people, and just you know, the fundamentals of making this the field work in a way that supports them having an excellent hour, an excellent time.
Are you a Zoom master?
I'm one of them. There's,
Okay, beautiful. Exactly.
we're all-
You know, this is a thing we've been looking for so desperately. Now, here's a way together, everybody, is to do that. Is say, okay, in fact, if you would be willing, we would like to have that going on right through the 7 weeks of helping people that come in of how to use Zoom. Because we want at the end, one of the goals at the end of this 7 weeks is every participant will have the capacity and will have a free Zoom account, because many of them won't be able to have buy one. They'll have a free Zoom account. Some will already have it. And they'll within their circles, they will be responsible to hold 2 talking circles themselves. That means they have to invite people, they have to launch it, they have to have their talking circle, 2 of them. So we know when they come out of there, we have a seed crystal of capacity. So whenever you can help out, Glenn, it would be great.
yeah, we'll help out.
Good.
Any other questions?
I'm just really excited to get this party rolling.
Me too.
I want to send out the invitations to the living rooms.
Yes,
I don't know
absolutely.
how to do that, or who to contact. But
Well, let me, if I may, just share with you can I share my screen? I think you'll be excited to see how far our reach is going here. Just 1 second. I'll do that. I'm trying to learn how to do this thing. Okay, here we go. Okay. Can you see me now? I mean, see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Okay, you can see my screen now. So I'm going here to, you have to please be patient. I got one, I pipe with 1 finger and I work this thing with 1 finger. Okay, now. Okay. Let's see. Oh, no drafts. Guess what I want, drafts. I'm just working on this one. That's all our relatives in
wow.
that's all the people I've worked with in Europe, really close relatives. So we're just getting ready to bring them in the same with our relatives, African American relatives, Asian relatives, mixed Métis. We have Métis, or have French and indigenous background who are not members of tribes. I happen to be a member of a tribe, or else I'd be a Métis. But so we're just trying to reach as far as we can, and others are beginning to reach as well. Now, whether that results in any huge numbers or whatever, I'm not concerned, because Creator will bring who's supposed to be there if we provide the open door. So we've got about 20 of those lists. I'm going through different ones. I'm sending personal letters out to the groups to invite them to come.
Beautiful.
Wow.
I have 2 other pieces, little
Sure.
thread. One is just a inspiration of what I see this. I saw this today. This is kind of like a seed bank of wisdom and practice, like of wisdom and best practices. This is like a seed bank where literally
Yes.
we're holding this seed bank, and they get to go out and then they're cultivating these seeds all over the world. So I love this idea of
Absolutely.
really holding this wisdom and best practices here. And I know that I haven't read your email yet, it came in this morning, but I know you're talking about this ceremony and the 7 weeks and really inviting people into the class. I'm wondering if your title is, this is going to sound really silly, but if your title is Set Firm, or there's any way to put wholeness in there, like instead of wellness, put wholeness, or instead of,
Oh,
I don't,
beautiful. You know something? It'll be changed now.
beautiful. How would it be?
Oh, it'll
What?
just simply be global. It'll be global ceremony for healing, wholeness, thrivability, and peace on earth.
Beautiful. It could be like that, or it could be for the good of the whole at the end, on peace and earth for the good of the whole. But wholeness in there is really nice. Thank you.
Okay, great. I went from at the very end, and then I went through and listened to the Sign Network on Saturday. I was part of that gathering, and they were talking about peace on earth and so forth. And that's when I went from what did I call it before? Unity and diversity. So the end was unity and diversity. Then I went to peace, on earth, and now so wholeness. So in this process, until we get there, things can change. What I can't change is timing. For you
Yeah.
promise to give a ceremony, you have to give a ceremony. In the process, if it changes the name or you learn, that's okay. So that's great. So why don't you reflect on it and send me back what you feel would be the most powerful way that uplifts us highest. I mean, this, as I said, we haven't done this before. There's never been a global ceremony for this like this. So we have the time. Everything's in draft, I believe. I'm in draft. We're in draft. The whole world's in draft.
We're in redraft.
Yes, and redraft. Perfect.
Okay, I have just one more. Can I ask one more question? Okay.
Absolutely.
This is really a logistical question, and I just feel that it's like build a field, they will come, but I just feel like they will be inspired. Everyone's going to be inspired from each other, and that vision that you're holding, which is what we've been holding, which is really the essence of good of the whole, right? I can feel like that's going to happen just by the beauty of what's happening here. I have one question, it's very logistic, which is, how do you deal with people advertising their own programs inside of this? Because for what I've seen outside of good of the whole, it gets very tricky, and people are we're all growing, and it's the humaning. And so just, I don't even know what this is in, but basically, I think that's just an important thing just to be aware of, like how to it could be something simple that just says, hey, this is what we're doing. But if you have all these different people and they have all their different programs, and okay, go to Sign or do this, or it becomes that resonance.
That exactly. It becomes very commercial.
Exactly. So we want this to be really focused.
When I talk to, and again, because I think it's a very, very important concern. When I talk to Summer, for instance, now as she has ongoing these her friend and her have ongoing dance classes. So I said, well, she's going to come on, and they're going to share their videos for. All we're going to say is, if you want to go deeper into this, you can go here. You can go here if you want to go deeper. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's real easy to say, find my link in the digest.
Exactly.
Oh, great.
Go sign up for that. Find my links in the digest.
Something that's perfect. We put everything in the digest, so when they're there, they're purely there to represent the good of the whole. Is that right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think we should send you and I'll go just take one more peek at it. Like what we did for all our people that are part of the connection field and have special programs, we actually created this hourly template and this other document just to help people all, so that we're all working as one voice. and it has worked really beautifully. So maybe that's something that you want to consider, or we can just share with you what we're doing, and you can take it or rearrange it or adjust it.
But why don't we just, if it's possible, why don't we just, if it's possible, just put us together with you and make it our joint position?
Yeah.
How's that? I mean, you already created it. Why? I mean, you got to know I'm at 75 with one finger typing. You know, I'm figuring my dad made it to 89. I'd like to make it another 10 years at least. So I'm not really so involved with that part. But anything we can be part of, I'd love it, and we'll be happy to do the same.
Okay, I have one more.
Brother Phil, one more. I'm sorry.
Julie, this is really important. Okay, so when you were talking with Linda about the, sharing our living rooms, or however you put it, let's bring our living rooms together at the hoops of hoops, right? And sometime, if Julie hasn't told you the story, you need to hear the story of the spheres of wholeness, because that's exactly what you're talking about. That began in at Hummingbird with Makasha and Carolyn, and but mainly, in our last Good of the Whole retreat.
When were you in Hummingbird?
That's a pretty long story. I don't think it's a good story for tonight, but I think we could get on with you and tell you that story.
Okay.
But it was
too.
Yeah, but at our last Good of the Whole retreat, that was one of the things that we did with everyone, and Julie can speak more to that, where we each had our own sphere of wholeness, and it was all about bringing those spheres of wholeness together. And we actually did even a very experiential piece with that, and it was very profound. So maybe, I don't know, Julie, if we want to do something around that, I don't know. But I feel like that's what's happening, is these spheres of wholeness are coming together to create that sacred geometry. So
The hoop of many hoops.
the hoops of many hoops, I love it.
You know the prophecy from where that comes from? Well, Hehakasapa of Black Elk was our most recent visionary in terms of really seeing the future, what's going to happen, including, by the way, the whole ceremonies I shared with you of the Armageddon and the 4 horse. His vision had 4 horses: red, yellow, black, and white. Or yellow is kind of pale because it represents the south. But the Heoka, we call Heoka, the opposite, of course, is a book of Revelations. You see, the book of Revelations. Anyway, sorry. That's John Raymer. He's been in here. Hey there, brother.
Hi, how are you?
I'm here, right here with the good of the whole. I'm looking right at the good of the whole right here. And there are. Here's Shelley. There's John. There's Julie. There's
Hi,
Glenn and there's Linda.
Awesome. That makes me so happy. That's the vision that we're all synergizing this way. It makes me so happy.
Yes. Well, listen, I finally found a Zoom master, finally, who's going to give us a hand, Glenn. He's one of our Zoom masters, so I'm very pleased in my search. So I'm going to take you off the hook now. Huh?
I never felt like I was on the hook.
You never felt like I was on the hook. Well, I don't ever feel on the hook with you either, brother.
I love you, man. Hey, listen, a quick question for you.
Okay.
So, are you familiar with the United Nations, the Mother Earth delegation from hold on. So, the Mother Earth delegation of United Indigenous Nations.
I'd have to see who's in it before I would tell you.
It's the Center for Sacred Studies.org.
Oh, the Center for, I know who they are.
And they just did this event on March 28th, Mother Earth delegation. It's the Mother Earth delegation of United Indigenous Nations of the North Conference. So Chris Decker from Uplift, they want to become sign members, and I didn't know if you knew them.
Let me finish. When we get done with this, I'll give you a call, then I'll go ahead and take a look at it.
Okay.
All right.
Send them my love.
All right. They're hearing everything you say. They're waving at you right now.
Okay.
And they're blowing kisses. They're sending hugs.
Hey, so listen, while I got them.
Yeah, here they are, right here. Go ahead and speak. Can you hear him all right?
Okay. So our newest sign member is Kenji from Bella Gaia.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, awesome.
We've got a major thing planned for Earth Day.
Mm.
So, two broadcasts, 20 minutes each, going to be a combination of pre-records and live. Really a beautiful sign network event for everybody to share in. And we've got also the whole annual World Peace event happening that comes out of New York as well with Jonathan Granoff and others. But just tell the guy it's so fabulous. What a perfect time for everyone to really sense what it is, honor Mother Earth, and
Right.
feel connected to this beautiful world. So remember, Bill, they were in New York during the launch event. That's what was going on.
No, I remember very clearly. I remember, in fact, you know, they'd be great. We'd be great to get a couple of videos from them to share on our.
You know, the other good connection is astronaut. Is it Ron, your friend?
I mean, Commander John Harrington, who was our only. He's my family member. He's a Czechoslovak.
Yeah, they have an astronaut coming out because it was inspired by Edgar Mitchell and the views from space, and NASA has given them all this content. Okay, we'll talk about that as well. Maybe there's a connection with Kenji for the Earth Day event. That would be really good.
Okay, great. I know John, because John's been out there and looked back from outer space, and he knows what Mother Earth looks like from way out there. So
you guys need some help.
Yeah, we do. But don't worry, Mother Earth's taking care of things. She's taking care of things. She's shut us down. She said, no. She has, Mother Earth has built-in protection systems, and they're so tiny you don't even know. They're just microscopic, tiny. And at a certain point, Mother Earth says, just a minute here, stop. Time out. Julie just made a time out sign. Okay, brother.
All right, love you.
Love you. Bye. Okay.
Beautiful. I think, Shelley, you were in the middle of a question. I think.
Yes,
I don't remember.
I'm sorry, Shelley.
Did you lose it?
I
So-
asked the question I asked. That's fine.
Okay, Brother Phil, I just had one quick, and I think Linda raised her
Sure.
hand again.
Please.
So just to clarifying again, there's an opening ceremony next Thursday, and the ceremony lasts for 7 weeks, and then we do a closing ceremony.
No, how it goes is this. Okay, everybody, whoever is invited to the opening ceremonies, in order to continue on in our talking circle thing, you have to be registered, because then we're going to have a particular circle. So anybody, and I'm sure other people will just come check it out. But that place will be kind of, we'll do the ceremony. It's not going to be kind of opened up. Maybe at the end we'll have some talking circle. We'll have some talking circle at the very end. But it'll also be introducing after this. We'll have the opening ceremonies. We'll open the globals. Then we'll go into talking about what we're going to do during our talking circle leadership program, as well as kind of introducing people and so forth. That'll be the first hour and a half is about, the prayers and orienting people and so forth and so on, what's happening. Now, at that point, in terms of what we're going to do in the talking circle, unless you're registered, and then you won't be part of that. But it'll be completely part of, at any time you wish, the other, as well, everybody we're doing, or anybody, will have will be able to come to the programming of the whole, or the field.
Okay, so the connection field. So your opening ceremony will be on Analusa's Zoom with your class.
No, it'll be on our Zoom. It'll be our Zoom to the whole universe.
Who's Zoom?
On Four Worlds Zoom.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
we
Four
can
Worlds.
participate, and we could.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody's invited. Everybody's invited. In fact, we'll be sure there's prayers from everybody. And we're really going to initiate this, that those who wish to join us, we are looking forward to emerging as a whole new human being at the end of the 7 weeks.
Beautiful.
I'll find a better way to phrase it. I'm going to hold it in black and white, but a way to say, we have this capacity now to step out completely out of this old collapsing world order into the birthing of the new. And so somehow or another, I see this as kind of an initiation process. Now, on the 29th, and it's so, did I share this with you yesterday, all the numerology with this thing?
You told me on the phone, but tell everybody else, they'll love it.
Yeah, it's just, you know, the thing that blew my mind was last night I was on a program where these relatives were, I know, Deborah Maldo, we were there at Unity Earth, and she led us in a ceremony. Let me see, move over here. Yeah, here we go. Over here. She led us in the beginning of the Jewish ceremony, Passover ceremony. And here's what's so strange, because when I realized that I kind of got my vision faster than I could do, I always do numerology. Okay, so remember, we moved it from this Thursday, the 8th to the 16th. I had no idea what the numerology was. I just did it. And then I went back to it. So opening ceremony, April 16, 2020 is the 16th day, the 16th week, and the 16th Thursday of 2020. Now look at that 7. That 7, April is a 7, a 2 and a 2 is a 4, with 9 days to go in April. As well, April 16th was a 7, a 4 is the 8th and last day of Passover. So here we are, right at that point of the last day of Passover, when in fact plagues and so forth came. We're starting that position, and it'll tell you just where we're going to go in a minute. The birthstones for this day are diamond and crystals. Closing ceremonies. Now, I purposely moved the closing ceremonies away from the closing of the class or the program, so that by this time we should have quite a momentum built up. Closing ceremonies, May 29th, 2020 is the 22nd Friday of 2020, the 150th day of the year, 216 days, there's numerology, 9 days left in 2020, the 22nd Friday of 2020 on this 22nd week of 2020. Birthstone, Emerald observes the International Day of UN Peace, University of, how do you pronounce that? Shavuot?
Shavuot.
So a major Jewish festival held 50 days of the second day of Passover. It was really it was originally a harvest festival. We're going to harvest, and now commemorates the giving of the law. That's the days this just happened to come up on. Now, am I crazy? I mean, you know, it's
So be it.
So be it.
So be
I'm
it.
not going to question it. I'm just figure. Yes, please. Glenn.
Yeah, so I have 2 questions.
Sure.
One for us. Would we want to, if we go to the hall, we want to invite the leaders of the various segments maybe to join us in the mentoring stewards meetings on Wednesday mornings,
That's wonderful.
to integrate them into the mentoring stewards? Would that be a possibility or something we want to consider? I don't know, just
No.
that out.
But I think that we, and by the way, I'm so pleased we're taking the time, because like they do say, I mean, everybody knows that the devil's in the details, truly. So I'm so thankful. But I think that let's find if we can kind of create a way to open that door and say, and then I can say, here's ongoing. If you want to be part of this, anyway, we can find the wording so that people feel like, oh, this is a good place to be.
Terrific. Okay, that's one thing. And then the second, I'm wondering how many people do you think will be on these Zoom calls?
Well, I don't know. I mean, right now, even though we had changes around and so forth, in terms of the course, there's probably 200 or 300. I don't know, because my son is up there writing emails back and forth. We want to personally, and when we made the change, I know when we made the change to dates, I think we had about 110. So what we did was, I felt so, even our relatives who had expectation, who had scholarships, that we had to move it. So what we did was we gave everybody a PDF of a Sacred Tree and a lot of materials, and just thanked them and so forth. Everybody was happy. So I have no idea. I mean, in the end, some people could sign up. We could only have 20. I don't know.
Okay.
But
So
we're preparing for the most.
Yeah, just thinking of the logistics. So we want to make sure our room is, is sized right, or sized, in terms of we may have to increase the size of our Zoom account, just so we make sure we handle everybody. It'd be a little
Okay,
additional cost for us.
And we'll have to do, we're going to do the same. That's why we're watching carefully. We're at 100. We have to increase. You know what? If you had a time, Glenn, it would sure be great to have you speak to my son Tiger. He's been kind of getting mentored on this Zoom by John Raymer, but John, that's not that's not his primary skill. Zoom.
Tiger?
Tiger. He's my young son. He's 19. He's the backbone behind this whole deal. He's the one behind the scenes answering all the emails and putting lists together and all that.
Okay, phone
And he's the
number?
one that's been instructing me, huh?
Phone number?
Yeah, it's
Phone number, email?
yeah 604
604?
604 542 8991. It's my number. Anytime you want to. By the way, my dad used to say this to 1,000 people. He said, "My teepee flap is always open." My teepee flap is always open. We never put locks on our teepees. It was just you just opened up. Anybody could come in.
I love that. What's the number again, Brother Phil? What's the number
Yes,
one more time?
it's 604 542 8991. In fact, I'll put it right here in the chat.
Well,
No. I got it.
You got it.
John, you've been kind of quiet. Any last question from you, John? Linda has one.
Question. Can you give us a time frame for the day of Thursday, the 16th, April the 16th, when this ceremony will take place?
Well, it's from 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time to 11:30 Pacific Daylight Time. It may go a little bit over, and then it'll be every Thursday at that time.
Okay, that's the morning.
That's the morning, which gives us, it doesn't get too late over in Europe at that time, or it's pretty good timing around globally.
Every Thursday, there'll be a ceremony. Is that correct?
No, we'll have the opening ceremony, which is open to everybody. So
Right.
that'll be like on the on the field. It'll
Right.
be open to anybody. Now from there we'll go into. By the way, all the other programming is open, but those relatives who chose to register, they'll be in there. We'll be doing our own thing.
Right.
And then others, because not everybody is ready or has the time to come into this.
Mhm.
So what we're doing, but others might be doing something over here or here, but here's the place we can all come together, like you said, and truly feel like, there's no consumerism here. Nobody's trying to sell anybody something or proselytize somebody. So we don't want to have that feeling.
Thank you.
Is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have a question,
None.
brother, but I do want to say that this is a major step in the evolution toward a new template of life on planet Earth. And it's been a long time coming, and we cannot go back. And I'm sitting here holding this space of the cooperation of just this meeting, and this energy field is reverberating throughout, and what's going to come of this is incredible and beautiful, and you're a fine man. I appreciate being in your presence.
Well, I appreciate being in yours. I always say that because when you get up, we're just who we are.
Yeah.
And so people, I found this out. Do not allow yourself to in any way be put on a pedestal, because you always fall down. So what I say is this is true. If you see any good qualities in me, you couldn't see them if you didn't have them in you. If you think anything I said makes sense, if you didn't already know it, you wouldn't think it made sense. So all I am is a mirror back, and you're a mirror to me, which helps me see parts of myself I can't see, and maybe I help you see parts of yourself you can't see. But really, we're one out of this same drop of the universal sea of consciousness, all of us.
That's exactly right. That's why we're brothers.
That's right. Got it.
All right.
I'm glad we came to that point, aren't you, brother?
I am glad we came to that point, brother.
I'll tell you what. I didn't like some of those battlefields we used to be on
Oh,
at all.
No, I'm done with that.
Not at all. No, you know, it's so beautiful, John, because I look at John. He kind of represents, in a way, like that kind of a general type, you know, U.S. cavalry type guy. And so I just think, I mean, really, we've been through enough of that. Really,
I've done enough of that. I've been there.
I've been there. I know
Yeah.
it. You know, my dad, before he died, had this experience where he literally, he told me, he said, son, he said, you ought to because he was in his dream, he literally was in this fight. And he says, when you're there, he said, that blood, when it's coming down your arms, it gets so slick. I mean, he was there. I've been there. I have been in those battles. I mean, I'm not talking about symbolically. I've been physically, I mean, I can't explain it. As much as I'm right here in those battles, fighting it out. Yeah, I don't want to go there anymore.
No. That's not our future.
Huh?
That is not our future.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. The herd of one is a herd of all. Glenn.
Another question, detailed, very detailed. In your Zoom rooms, would you want to have the capacity for people to chat
Yes.
and send messages back and forth?
That'd be fantastic.
All right, well, I mean, so
You know, Glenn, I would say this. You know, your understanding of this is way beyond ours. We want to use Zoom to its greatest capacity. Anything you can help us to do that, you know, we'll do that. For instance, if, you know, so that's what, if anything we need to do to upgrade this capacity, we're happy to do it.
well, there's there's something to consider when you allow the chat.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, there's something to consider. So, Shelley, you want to take that?
Yes, I do, because I have a real, so we deliberately took the chat off. And the reason was because what tends to happen when you're trying to build resonance and build coherence, it becomes incredibly distracting because people are texting them and this and this. And actually what we're really wanting them is to really deepen into the field, integrate that experience of wholeness, to feel that resonance. And it won't happen if people are using that chat. So, and I'm speaking because I've been doing Zoom rooms for 8 years, 10, even longer. And we've all been doing this. And when we took away the chat, it allowed for the people's focal point to be on the energy, the frequency, and the vibration of what actually we want them to experience, which is that wholeness, which is that connection, which is that this is the whole system living health. And they're so used to doing this thing with each other, and it happens. I mean, it's great on certain calls, like Summer's calls, and you know, people are just going at it, and it's so distracting. It's so much noise. So I am going to be one who's going to actually stand my ground, and I'm willing to change. And okay, if everyone goes, no, we need it. But for me, and what I've seen in holding the field, that it doesn't work. And you know, we can invite people to, however we want to. If you need to find out about someone, or go to Good of the Whole, or we can figure out a way where people can. Oh, wait! You don't even know about this. We have a resonance lounge through Good of the Whole. And that place, people can start to connect and communicate, which is what we're really wanting to build. So maybe that's the answer for the chat room.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it is that, in a way, with us bringing the whole talking circles in, we're going to have, by the way, the talking circle, we won't do it right away. The talking circles, once we have I know that people have the capacity, then we're going to open that up. So people have talking circles where they can talk about things together and do that. Under particular, we have very clear guidelines, you know, no self put downs or put downs of others, you know, no comments about what other people are saying. I mean, I hear Shelley and she shares, and I share what I have to share, and everybody shares, but it's no crosstalk. So there's certain dimensions within those talking circles that have this uplifting. But I don't want to see what happen is these chat things, people can start fighting over stuff. I don't know if that can happen, but it seems like I see it in Facebook where, you know, anyway, so I completely agree. But I think it's good that we look at it, but we'll have that capacity in why don't we just have it in your room, that lounge room?
Yeah, so Julie and I will talk about that, and we can look at what the capacities are. And Julie is really good with that. And yeah, I mean, I think it feels really right to me. It feels like, wow, what a perfect place. And if maybe we create I don't know if we can, what the capacity is, but a chat room or something for your circles, or, you know, if you don't
Yes.
have that within. So I think that's something we can talk about, and thank you for
Yes,
hearing
yes.
me.
Well,
Right.
absolutely. And Glenn,
Glenn, I
so,
love
so I
you.
want to make sure, right? I want to make sure now that we're all, because when you said, I'm going to stand my ground, it sounded like there was a reason to say I was going to stand my ground. You have a little bit different
I wanted to
perspective.
make sure we just had the conversation. That's good.
I was going to make sure that we didn't have maybe we could have a vote here. Have a, you know, I know they have a voting capacity, but whether we should have the chats or not. You know.
This is what we say, ahola. When we're all in agreement, we go, ahola.
Julie, you're
You're-
muted, by the way.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Oh, you would really like to know what I was saying. I said
Yes,
we
of
could have a
course.
vote. We could have a vote if we wanted to, but it sounded like Shelley would veto it anyway. Oh, thank you, Brother Phil. This was
Thank
really
you all.
helpful to us. And maybe we can meet again tomorrow and clarify and look at that. But
Yeah.
looking forward to
Right.
putting that in.
This-
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Laura. And Glenn, you got my number. But looking forward to connect to Tiger. What we want to do, you know, if there's a way to kind of balance out whatever we need to do to upgrade our Zoom, that, you know, I've upgraded the technology, so I know we're not going to lose. I mean, at least from our end, we're not going to have, you know, blips, because we'll have a business level internet here. I hope it works anyway.
It's
Okay.
all
All right.
It's all
Okay.
good. Thank
Love you all. Big
Love you,
hugs.
Patrick.
Big hugs.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah, big hug. Big
Bye
hug.
bye.
Hello.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh,
Bye,
yes.
everyone. Have a good evening.
thank you.